So the last rear-wheel drive vehicle to head up for Jimmy Kaido was this, the Lotus Evora 124 Endurance, and of course the Lancia 037 Mark II, as I'm going to call it. I was kind of shocked by the Evora, to be honest. I really thought it would have done better than it did, but it just had a lack of grip, and it just had a lack of acceleration, which really did not help it in the slightest. They're the two main things that you kind of do need for the Jimmy Kaido course. However, throughout the course of Forza, there is always one car that you can rely upon for some good performance, and it is from Acura and or Honda, depending on what is available, and it is this, the Honda NSX. The NSXs have always had a reputation for being good, especially in Forza games. Alright lads and lasses, I'm Eccentric Racer, and we are back on Forza Motorsport 4, continuing on the Jimmy Kaido Hill Climb course. Yes, King of the Mountain, that's the one. I'm not quite there just yet. Yes, this is King of the Mountain, I am getting my series right. Yes, as I said in the intro, this is what we are going, with the NSX-R. I am hoping for good things on this, I really am hoping for good things. You know, considering the disappointment that was the Evora Endurance last time, and then just the sheer improvement in speed on the 037 once I added that rear wing was just absolutely insane. You know, that was, what, 5 seconds? Yeah, about 5.8 seconds more. So basically, we're looking at a car that improved from 6 seconds just because of the rear wing. So, NSXs, you know, they've been good cars. I've got a Acura NSX in B class, and I've got a Honda, a more modern NSX-R in A class, along with a older Acura NSX in A class as well, and they have served me good. They are just very good cars. If you need a B class car, if you need a car to build, just look at the NSX, and you will get some good performance. Anyway, that's about that. Let's go stick on the part. Of course, we've got the tyre widths, which are, what were they? Were they 265s? Okie dokie. Out the front 235. So not incredible, not the widest tyres in the world. However, it is a mid-engine sports car, so we might, from the 90s as well, so we might get some good handling in it anyway. After all, it is a Honda NSX. Of course, I'm going to want a race weight reduction, which takes us down to under 2,300 pounds. Now that is very good. Aspirations, of course, I can stick on twin turbo. It comes normally naturally aspirated. If needs be, I can stick on a supercharger or a centrifugal. I think I'm more likely going to put on the supercharger. Yes, it might be heavier, however, I want instant power delivery. I don't want to be risking turbo lag, although to be honest, with turbos like that, it's not really going to matter too much. Yeah, we haven't had many issues with turbo lag. Gearbox I'm going to leave out for now. We might go back and add a better one, so let's start sticking in some power. We should get a good amount of power from this. Yeah, there we go, we're starting to get to 6, 8, 9, right, okay. Now, God, I'm thinking, I don't think the gearboxes are bad in the Honda. I don't think they're that bad. What am I thinking? Do I want... What's that going to put us to? It's going to put up to 494 horsepower. You know what, we'll go with that. We'll stick on 494 horsepower, get that weight off, there we go. Right, so I can put in a sport gearbox, or I can put in a race clutch. What takes off more weight? You take off 4 pounds, you take off 2. Okay, I'm gonna go for a clutch. I did stick on, oh, thank God for that. I kind of just immediately forgot to stick, I thought I'd bolster this build up here. Now I can stick on a fly, obviously it would be more PI beneficial to put on lighter rims, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just put on the flywheel. I basically only use rims as a last resort. Same with kind of the flywheel, however, I think what these are just so much better. Let's have a look. 1 PI, yeah. 1 PI and the car's lost £27. You know, that's just... It's just that... It is just that good. Right, okay. You know what? We're doing it. We are going to go for the lighter wheels. No, come on. I've got a notification. Bugger off. There we go. If I can... yeah, I can. There you are. You see? £16. I know the flywheel kind of makes your car rev a little bit faster. However, you know, I'm not going to complain when I get £16 for 1 PI compared to £1. So, yes, they are going straight on. So, the NSX is in very, very good stead. 494 horsepower, 351 foot-pounds of torque, so, you know, it's not the most powerful. I mean, to be honest, some of the rear-wheel drive cars were getting about 900 horsepower, but that weight is good. We are under a ton. Only just, but we are still under a ton. So a powered weight ratio is probably about 500. Yeah, well, horsepower per ton, sorry. That's very good. Now, of course, one thing I have forgot to do this entire series, kind of because of I haven't really do it. I'll be showing the benchmark for now on. I know someone commented about it, so I'm going to look at the benchmark. What I'm really paying attention to is the acceleration, the braking. The handling, I'm going to pay more attention to the 60 mile an hour rather than the 120, because the 120 mile lateral G is only going to really come into effect at like a corner, and that's it. Very few I'm going to pay attention to 120 lateral G. I'm going to pay more attention to 60. So 0 to 60, 3.4, 0 to 100, 6.6. That's very, very good acceleration. The braking, yeah, under 100 foot for 60. To 100 mile an hour, we're looking at sort of under 260, and lateral Gs, we're looking at 1.12. Okay, so that's just from the benchmarking thing. Obviously, things will be a little bit different. The benchmark isn't always completely accurate. However, they're actually pretty good stats. Top speed as well, 200 mile an hour. That's pretty good. I reckon this could be a very, very good car. I reckon this could probably hold a candle against probably even the Porsche Cup, if I'm honest. Okay, here we are at the base of the Fujimi Kaido new hill climb. Going to have 3 attempts to get this Honda NSX-R up the new hill climb as quick as possible. Current leader is still that Rossi in Q1 with a 431.8. I reckon this could actually stand a pretty good chance at beating that time. I reckon it probably might not be able to do it because that Rossi was just absolutely insane, but I reckon this could stand a good chance. I reckon we're looking easy podium for this. I reckon this can get into the top 3. But there's only one way to find out. Let's see if my driving's up to code. Oh, I've bullsed it. Sorry. They're not supposed to be here. I've accidentally selected the wrong thing. Hang on a minute, bit of back. Oops. That's the first time I've managed to do this series as well. That's incredible stuff. Here we go. No more AIs this time. We're starting on the correct part of the grid this time. But here we go. 3 attempts. Let's go, NSX-R. Let's see what you have got for Fujimi Kaido. Okay, we've got a little bit of a oversteery issue going on there. Oh, wow, that is very oversteery through there. Okay, I need to be very cautious with that power. Bloody hell. This is quite the oversteery bugger. Right, okay, so I can't be as confident as I thought I could be. There's definitely got to be a little bit more of a power control. Whilst we are not dealing with a huge amount, 494, you know, this car is under a ton. You know, this car weighs about a ton, so there's a lot of power going for not a heavy car. So stability is not going to be a strong point. It's going to be kind of like the Lotus Esprit Turbo that we had a little while ago, where that had, I can't remember how much power that had, but that weighed absolutely nothing. Now in the corners it was bloody quick. It was scary as hell to drive, but the acceleration was absolutely immense, which yeah, that's what helped that car so much. It's just that what held it back is that it was bloody terrifying to go up for Fujimi Kaido. However, this, you know, it's still got a little bit of issues. That turning though is really nice. It's got to be a little bit cautious with the power delivery. Oh, I did lock the brakes there a little bit. That's going to cost some time, but this first one's always a little bit, there's got to be a little bit of a learning curve with the first run, obviously, so I've got to see what the car is like. However, it is driving incredibly nicely. I'm going to put you in first for the first of the 4 hairpins. No, I'm going to be right. Okay, this is the awkward point. This is what causes problems for a lot of cars. I'm constantly having to swap in between gears as we climb up here. Now, obviously, the 4 hairpins, it does do that quite a bit. You are constantly swapping between first and second gear. That is just what happens there. Let's just hope I'm not having to do that all that often. Let's get you through the river chicane. There we go, 117 miles an hour. What are we doing? 136 miles an hour before we have to slam onto the brakes here. That is absolutely impressive stuff. No word of a doubt. You know, that is some serious speed going on. 136, some of the fastest rear-wheel drive cars we've actually got. What helps this as well is, what just helps this is that, you know, it's still actually got fairly good handling, and that's the main thing. Not a lot of weight, good, decent chunk of power. Acceleration is going to be nice, and whilst it's not the hugest rear tyres, 265s, it's still actually putting down this power fairly nicely. Oh god, what is nice about it as well, we haven't got just a absolute mile of understeer. That front end is actually turning in fairly nicely this time out. Okay, through the no, that's not a chicane, that's the waterfall car park. Oh my god, I'm losing it. I really am losing it. I had a cup of tea. I think I need to replace that with a coffee, I will admit. Oh god, because that is absolutely terrible. I've ballsed up what series I'm currently doing, and I've not only that, I've then managed to balls up the event type, and not only that, I've now managed to balls up the corners. I've been doing this for a fair while. It doesn't feel like I have. Well, I mean, judging from this episode, it doesn't sound like I have either, but I have been doing it for a little while. I thought I would have been better at it by now, but, you know, there is that. Ooh, Christ almighty. Okay, we'll slow down there. Get it up this uphill straight past the, will that be sort of a river? Could it be a river? I'm not too sure if it's on the mountain here. What it is, though, is pretty. I imagine cold as well. 137 miles an hour before we slam on the brakes. What does help is that them brakes are actually pretty damn good as well when I don't lock them. Yeah, it does have a recipe for a good car. All I need to do is just quell that oversteer, I reckon, a lot more than I originally anticipated. I think I just let the car get a little bit away from my control, and that has definitely cost the first run. However, that's not as good as I was expecting. Oh god, okay. I was expecting better from this NSX. That is a 438.6. So that actually only just puts it above the Mark 1 or 37. Yeah, that's not good. Come on, there's got to be more time than that, surely. I mean, I know the rear is a little bit loose. I think really it's just because of the tyre compound. I'm on rear stars. I can't get better compounds than that. I think it's possibly its tyre size. I mean, I was being a little bit of a buffoon with the power. Now that I know how it drives, I'm going to be more sensible this time out. I think that's its main thing. I just need to quell that oversteer that the NSX has, and when I can get on the power, use all of it, because that acceleration is just absolutely lovely. It is just absolutely incredible. I'm not too sure. I don't think I'd really want to have put a roll cage in. What we're going to do over here, we're going to do 103 miles an hour. We do get a fair bit of airtime as well. I think I've locked the brakes a smidge, but I don't think I missed the apex all that much, so it's probably going to cost just a smidge of time, but of course that's going to add up overall. Oh, I turned in just a little bit too early. Oh god, felt the back end loosening there as I shifted into third gear. Really don't want to do that. I want to keep this car nice and planted because it's not as grippy as I thought. I honestly was expecting a little bit more from you, Honda, but you know, I've got to put up with it. I've got to put up with it. And well, yeah. I mean, I do like the car to drive. Oh Christ Almighty! You know, that's the main thing. It is a nice car to drive. It's just not as planted as I was anticipating and hoping. But when I can get I mean, we're doing 100 miles an hour down here. I mean, yeah, sure, we've got a little bit of understeer through there, actually a fair amount, but that's still just really impressive stuff. And when they get on the power, it's really you can just see the back end and just hear it as well, snapping for all the grip that you can try and muster. It's just not there just yet. Oh, a little bit of an oversteer problem through the final for 4 hairpins. Now let's get it out of there, punching it out of that corner. Right, okay, come on, let's get you through the river chicane. We should get some good speed here. Put it into 4th and get a little stability. Yeah, we're looking at 118 miles an hour. Okay, if I braked a little bit later and missed the corner, that could do 140 miles an hour there. That is insanely good. But I do miss the corner doing that. Okay, well, 50% hairpin now. Let's try and get that power down. There we go. NSX is through there with little concern for me. A little bit of a slide over that right-hander into the second tunnel now. I mean, to be honest, the thing about the end, I do really like the sound of the NSX. If I did have a fair chunk of money, I would buy one. I genuinely would buy an NSX. This is my favourite of the Japanese sports cars. I am a big NSX fan. Kind of a little bit more of a fan. Not too sure which one I'm more of a fan of, the 05 or the 90s one. Not too sure, to be honest. Oh, I turned in way too early for that. I was a little bit too slow. Okay, that oversteer sort of got into my head a little bit. I'm now being a little bit too cautious with the car. I mean, do not get me wrong, there is not a massive amount of levels of grip, but there is still a level of grip that I am able to use. It's just lacking it a little bit. Come on, get you through there. Okay, go wide through here and tuck it into the apex. There we go, that's a little bit better this time out. I've got these sort of fast corners here that do catch out a lot of cars. That caught me out in this one. A little bit of a slide, but not too much. There we go. Keep that drift going ever so slightly. Get that power down, and now we are on this hairpin yet again. All we've got to do is just get it up this uphill. We should carry some great speed. Let's not lock the brakes. Let's not miss the braking point. Get a little bit of airtime over there actually. 137 miles an hour yet again. I can brake a little bit later, but I don't want to do it too much because, well, if I brake a little bit early, I might lose a little bit of time. If I brake too late and miss the corner entirely, I fear I'm just going to lose even more time and just braking a little bit earlier and then getting on that power just a smidge earlier, sorry, just to get the car off the wall. I feel like I do lose a lot less time doing that than just completely missing the braking point. One more corner to go. The acceleration should be good out of here. 106 miles an hour over the line. And we have found 2 seconds. We're down to a 436. What's that? 0.599. Alright, 36.6. So we are now in 6th place. We have beaten that Lotus Esprit. But what does surprise me is that it's nowhere near that Lotus Evoque. I'm really shocked. I really am shocked, to be honest. I thought it would be better than this. But, you know, they're the rules. That's just what it is. I'm not allowed to tune the car at all. But we've got one more run. Let's see if I'm going to be able to shave off a little bit more time. I should be able to beat that Ford GT. The Ford GT is, what, 400ths. You know, basically, I think it's about half a second quicker. Yeah, but sorry, not half a second quicker. That's a lot of time. Half a tenth faster. That's what I'm going to go for. So, you know, this should be able to beat that, I reckon. The Ford GT was a lot more composed, I will admit. It was better to drive better through the corners. But this Honda, it's just got that much acceleration that whilst it may lose a fair bit of time getting off the corners, once it does get going, it gains so much time back. All I need to do is just get a better run in it, and then I reckon I reckon this will probably be 5th place, to be honest. Oh, I've skipped the wall a little bit there, but it's not too bad. This could probably get a 4:35, I reckon. I reckon that's going to be its limit with no tuning. It's just, I really am shocked. Really am shocked by it, but you know, that's just the way the car works. Can't really do much about it. Oh, big oversteer moment through there. Get that power, keep that power going. I want to try and get the car accelerating as much as possible. Wasn't that huge of a drift? Just want to keep that car. I need to keep that power going. You know, it was a controlled slide. Oh, come on, there we go. That's nicely through there. A little bit of oversteer. Let's cut it in for this corner. Much better this time out. Ooh, I think I split the wall again. Put you into first gear. I think that's the main problem as well. When I just run a little bit too quick into the corners, I then having to correct myself again, which then just shrugs off a lot more speed. Okay, come on. I'm going to leave you in first. Actually, I do bounce off the limiter a little bit. Oh, I think I balls that corner a fair amount, but we are out of the 4 hairpins now. Let's see if I'm able to get through here, no problem. I mean, here's the main thing. This corner here is flat out. That front end is turning in nicely. That is the main thing. There's not a huge amount of understeer. It's just the back end is not as grippy. However, oversteer I'm fine with dealing. It's if a car has a lot of understeer, then I'm having to, I mean, to be honest, you know, with oversteer I'm having to compromise somewhat. But that's more compromising with trying to get out the corners. When it comes to understeer, I'm having to compromise myself into the corners and sort of throughout the corners. In a way, with oversteer I'm just having to be a little bit more careful trying to get out of them. So, you know, there is that. I'd rather a little bit of an oversteery car than a understeery car. Okay, we're doing not too bad this time out. Let's get you through here, of course, try and get onto the power out the corner. We get a huge amount of oversteer, but it's actually not that bad through that left-hander. A lot of cars do have problems, I think, with bottoming out. This NSX doesn't have a problem. Right, okay, waterfall car park rule for one last time. Okay, we are actually fairly good through there. Now I'm starting to warm up to this NSX quite a lot. You know, do not get me wrong, this has been a pretty good car to drive. It's just been a shock. You know, that's all I can really say. I've banged on about it, but really is just a surprising car to me. I really was expecting more. Oh God, come on. Right, okay, here we go. We'll get through there, through there as well. I do think the roll cage would probably have kept the car a little bit more stable. I think that probably would have. I don't know whether that would have increased PI or dropped PI. I think it probably would have increased it a little bit. I think I probably would be better off doing that. Excuse me. I do think having that roll cage would probably have helped it a little bit, at least be a little more stable. Just because, you know, the acceleration in this car is there. Just not the rear end grip, so I do think a roll cage probably would have helped calm that down a little bit. You know, there is that. Oh God, come on, just 2 more corners to go now. Come on, 1 more corner. Let's see, has this been a better run? It has felt better. It has been. It's been a 4:35.8. There we go. We have found a little bit more time. Yeah, I'm surprised with that car. I really did expect more, but you know, so it's 3 attempts. So let's put that on the leaderboard. I thought I'd change the scenery a little bit whilst we go over sort of the final part of the car. Instead of just staying at the mountain, just hearing a bunch of whooshing noises and a spinny camera, shaky camera, sorry, I thought we'd just go back to the main menu so we can listen to some nice chilled out music and look at the car one more time. Yeah, so the NSX, it has ended up in 5th place, beating that Ford GT by a good, what's that, maths, don't fail me now, what's that, half, 5 tenths, 7 tenths basically, yeah, 7 tenths. the NSX has beaten that Ford GT. I really did expect more from this car. I really, really did. The acceleration was just absolutely on point. I am going to check something real quick. Do you... you do add PI. Right, okay. That might have been the better call, to be honest, sticking on that rather than putting on the lighter wheels. But, you know, I made that decision. I don't know how much of a difference it would have made, but it is what it is. So, yeah, the acceleration, though, was just absolutely sublime. It really, really was. I think that's one of the fastest accelerating cars we've had up for Jimmy Kaido. I know it's even if it's not got the most power, it was rivaling some of the American muscle cars with just how quick it went up, how quick it got that speed and where it was getting the speed. Like, you know, it pretty much would do 140 miles an hour. A lot of the American muscle cars would sort of getting to that speed, but even when we had that long uphill straight, you know, that is where that acceleration for the NSX-R really came into effect. I do reckon this is probably... I think this and the Esprit have been the fastest accelerating cars. This just a little bit more composed than that Esprit, which I do think elevated it to be just that much quicker. It was 1.1 seconds quicker than that Esprit. But, you know... Well, there we are. I'm going to call it there for a video. I do hope you enjoyed. All feedback is appreciated. Getting everything on today. If you do want to suggest a car to go up for Jimmy Kaido, feel free to leave that in the comments. Or join the Discord. Feel free to leave some suggestions there, and I will happily send them up the course. You can suggest something sensible, like, I don't know, maybe you want to suggest a Ferrari. Or you can suggest something absolutely bonkers, like a Lincoln Continental. It's up to you. Same goes for the four-wheel drive stuff. You can suggest a Hummer if you really wanted. If you can get it to S-Class, that is. Yes. Feel free, leave your suggestions. However, that's it from me. Take care, and ciao for now.